about?
Well, like I've only been doing it for 34 years, so
Right.
yes.
I'm sorry, I do not have an update on anyone. Guys are just trickling down, right now. We're going to meet in a half hour. I'll meet with the trainers after that, and hopefully I'll have some information for you all tomorrow.
But Tyler does have, well, we never really got that definitive. Tyler does have a
It's something with his
contusion.
leg, yeah, and we'll find out definitively
And
what
you
it is.
mentioned it briefly last night, but was that a considerable factor in that he couldn't go versus Vic playing well and the way things were going and Tyler
Both,
struggling?
yeah. I mean, Tyler had to come out just so the trainers could see, what it was, and then, we just finished the game from that point.
And that was part of this
Just
process.
one more thing on Tyler. Was he cleared to go back in?
Depends on who you ask. If you ask Tyler, yes, and the trainers didn't say definitively no. It just that they were working on him. Look, this is what this series is. It's not exclusive to us. They're dealing with their share of bumps and bruises and everything, and this is just competition at its highest form.
Erik, if this had been a winner-take-all Game 7 last night, do you think Jimmy could have played in the second half?
I don't know. Now we're getting into all these weird hypotheticals. I want to help you guys. This is not gamesmanship. It honestly isn't. It's the playoffs. Guys are putting themselves out there. I don't have any more information really on any of the guys. And we'll just continue to get treatment. We'll have our meeting in a little bit, and I'll hopefully have some more information for you tomorrow. Guys have all had their opportunities during the regular season, extended time under adversity, and have been able to be productive to help us win. And you end up trusting what you experience, trusting what you see, trusting what you feel, trust what you've already done, and we've had a lot of these circumstances this year. With the unpredictability of guys coming in and out of the rotation.
The play of Bam, I know that there was a lot of talk beforehand about how you get him involved. Was it a byproduct the way the game played out, and maybe Jimmy not playing the second half, or was the plan all along to keep Bam that active?
Look, he's such a pivotal part of our offense, and I had to do a better job of just making sure that he was involved, but he was extremely assertive. I would say 90% of it was Bam. Just really being assertive in all the right spots. It wasn't like we were just, isolating him on the side. They're too good of a defense to do that. It's these quick decisions in the moments in between where I thought he was brilliant, and we needed it. He's a competitor, and he has a sense and feel for what our team needs, and we needed his scoring, we needed his playmaking, we needed him all over the place last night. 41 minutes. I was barely able to take him out of the game, because of his impact on both sides of the floor, and he just, helped, really stabilize everything to give us confidence to be able to win.
Erik, you split the minutes evenly in the first half between Kyle and Gabe, both played 12. Kyle went a little more in the second half. Is there any sort of minutes restriction? Are you talking to trainers at all?
I'm definitely talking to trainers. Sorry to cut you off. Definitely talking to the trainers on that. I'm in constant communication with Kyle. The plan was to be a lot more conservative in the first half, to leave us a little bit of leeway, going down the stretch, and it turned out that way. There's not a definitive minutes restriction. We just have to be mindful of it and get him his breaks during the course of the game so he's not running past exhaustion.
And did he look like healthy Kyle to you? Were there any points of the game where you said, that's not quite who he is, or did he just look
Yeah,
like
he definitely looks healthy. He hasn't played in playoff games with this kind of intensity, so that will have an impact. But his savviness and experience, his toughness, all of that showed itself, times 10 last night. I don't even care what his stat line was. It's the confidence level that he gives everybody. Offensively, guys feel like they can, do more. He's screaming and encouraging Bam, when he had opportunities to score. He set up that play for Max at the end and wanted Max, to come off and be ultra aggressive. The quarterback position, it can be a lot of different things, but ultimately, it's a position that gets people organized and inspires a higher level from everybody, and Kyle does that, as well as anybody in this game.
And speaking of inspiration, PJ could barely walk down the 2 steps after he did his post-game media interview. What's with that guy?
He's cut from a different cloth. He's old school. I've said it before, he was built for the 90s. He could play in that era. But then, oddly enough, in this spread, game and modern game of speed and quickness and threes, he's able to fit right into this as well. The most important thing is he's defined by competition, and he loves to compete to win. And he can do it in so many different ways. Defensively, yeah, he's a great individual defender, team defender, but offensively, he's one of our more important players, just in terms of helping us facilitate offense and get into different triggers. He's
Erik,
really a really smart player. That's been one of the the really fun things to see once we've gotten to know him this year.
Erik, how would you explain, if you could, the flow of this series is like teams are trading haymakers and you guys have these huge quarters they've had on you?
That's what's going to happen when you have two good teams. Sometimes you expect when you have two really good teams, evenly matched, both teams are about the right habits and have developed winning habits and perseverance and grit. Sometimes it's not always just going to end up just being a total possession game. There's going to be runs. There's going to be momentum shifts back and forth, and your emotional stability throughout all of that is really important. We were able to stay stable last night. It got extremely loud in there. We had some uneven possessions, and we were able to stay the course and find a way to go and get a win. And now that battle's behind us, and we got to focus on the next one. And obviously, you can expect an incredible amount of urgency, physicality, edge, all the above, from them, tomorrow night.
So in this series, or any series really, do you find meaning in the idea of winning quarters, and who's won those quarters?
I don't know.
There's been a lot of chatter about it. I'm just asking if you means anything.
I don't. It's tough. It's tough to win in the playoffs, and we're just focused on trying to win the game. You can get caught up in all the minutia. I get confused by all that stuff. It's hard enough just trying to focus on beating a good team, and at the end of the game, clock turns 0. Did we win or did we lose? That's what our focus is on.
So how much of a balance is it between executing what you do well versus trying to take away what they do well?
Both. Yeah. This is who can get who to blink first, second, third, fourth. It's nonstop. We want to try to get to our game. They're trying to take us out of it. We have to adjust some things because they're very good at what they do, particularly defensively. We're trying to get them out of their comfort zones. Sometimes it's looked good, sometimes it hasn't. And you have to credit the competition. You want the competition to raise your level of play. And that's going to continue to be our challenge. We have great respect for them and how fine a line this margin for error is in this series.
Erik, what are your thoughts about Victor Oladipo coming in and essentially playing the Jimmy role and trying to harass Jalen Brown?
Yeah, I can't say enough about Vic and his journey and his competitive character. Throughout all of this, he's had to manage a lot of different emotions. The frustration of 3 seasons of not being able to consistently be out there the way he wants to be out there. And then the last year of just really working on his health and then fast-tracking it to be available with the team without a guarantee on what the role would be. And then to work diligently, relentlessly behind the scenes, and then wait and be patient, for his opportunity. And they've come at various times. It's not going to be scripted in a perfect way. That's just the way it is right now. But if you keep your mind right and you stay positive, which he does, that's what I love about him, and you give into the team, there's a karma to it. And then when your number's called, you're not frustrated or focused on all the wrong things or listening to all the chatter about, you know, what most people, you know, could fall prey to. And then he's been prepared, you know, to be able to produce. And it was not easy. He didn't play, you know, in the first half. I talked about that last night. It's just there's going to be sliding doors, moving parts because of Kyle coming back. But again, that's an unpredictable circumstance. And then when his number was called, he was prepared mentally, emotionally, physically, and he gave us some incredible minutes in that second half. Those were winning minutes.
Was Duncan playing last night, not only a byproduct of the skill set and what he could give you, but his activity level when he came in late in game two was pretty high. Was that part of your thinking?
No, literally every single game in this series, he's been on my mind. You know, we definitely could use his spacing, his shooting. He creates a different kind of trigger. He accesses a different part of the menu for us. I think that's important. And again, it just kind of depends on the flow, circumstance of the game. And some of these, you know, I can have an idea, but I'm not going to just totally predetermine something. And he's emotionally steady. Doesn't mean he loves it, but you know, he's ready for those minutes when they happen. And I thought those minutes were good. You know, last night I was fully intending to play him in the second half. We just didn't get to it, but it could be different tomorrow night.
Turnovers have been off and on, you know, a bit of an issue this season. Why do you think the game like last night, the turnover battle was so important?
Yeah.
To take care of the ball?
I wish I had an answer because our emphasis, you know, is that all the time. And you don't want to play protective, preventive basketball either against a great defense. If you're just going to be passive and trying not to make a mistake, that's not going to put enough points on the board. So you do have to take some chances. You do have to be assertive. You have to be aggressive. But then you have to read the flow of the game. And I thought when it got disjointed a few times, that we were at least able to get to some, you know, coherent execution. It didn't necessarily lead to a make, but it didn't lead to 2 quick shots and then 3 turnovers in a row, and then all of a sudden you're looking at 5, 6 bad possessions. We were able to kind of stabilize that during the runs, and that's a whole lot easier said than done. That's a very good defense that we're playing against.
Last couple of questions, guys.
Does a defense like theirs, which there's a downside as they can flatten you out, but when they kind of flatten you out at the same time, does that also help reduce turnovers? Because you might be scoring ISO and post.
Good. Yeah, you know. And then you can fall into the quicksand too. If you're only getting to that, you know, at the end of the clock, and trying to beat them, you know, mano a mano, they're similar to us. You know, that's facing the strength of the defense. Well, we're just gonna have to continue to find ways, you know, to get to our strengths, do it efficiently, do it with pace, you know, and be assertive, you know, without, you know, coughing the ball up. Those live ball turnovers can be, you know, just brutal in this kind of series.
All right, Coach, thank you.
All right, thank you.